Later, you have to bring in an element of persuasion, an element of getting people to consent to what is happening to them. The nature of the ultimate revolution with which we are now faced is precisely this, that we are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy, have always existed and presumably always will exist, to get people actually to love their servitude. But to think about these other methods of control, these non-violent methods. And I'm inclined to think that the scientific dictatorships of the future, and I think there are going to be scientific dictatorships in many parts of the world, will be probably a good deal nearer to the Brave New World pattern than to the 1984 pattern.
If not your state. If not your state. If not your state. If not your state.
They will be a good deal nearer, not because of any humanitarian qualms in the scientific dictators, but simply because the Brave New World pattern is probably a good deal more efficient than the other. But if you can get people to consent to the state of affairs in which they are living, the state of servitude, the state of having their differences ironed out and being made amenable to mass production methods on the social level, if you can do this, then you are likely to have a much more stable and much more lasting society, a much more easily controllable society than you would if you were relying wholly on clubs and firing squads and concentration camps. Pavlov, after all, made some extremely profound observations both on animals and on human beings. And he found, among other things, that conditioning techniques applied to animals or humans in a state either of psychological or physical stress sank in, so to say, very deeply into the mind body of the creature and were extremely difficult to get rid of. That they seem to be embedded more deeply than other forms of conditioning. The conditioning has been driven in, so to say, by a kind of psychological iontophoresis into the very depths of the people's being, and has got so deep that it's very difficult for it ever to be rooted out. These methods, I think, are a real refinement on the older methods of terror, because they combine methods of terror with methods of acceptance, that the person who is subjected to a form of terroristic stress.
If not your state. If not your state. If not your state. If not your state.
But for the purpose of inducing a kind of voluntary, quotes, acceptance of the state and the psychological state into which he has been driven, and the state of affairs within which he finds himself. The percentage of people who can be hypnotized with the utmost facility, just like that, about 20%, that about a corresponding number at the other end of the scale are very, very difficult or almost impossible to hypnotize, and that in between there lies a large mass of people who can, with more or less difficulty, be hypnotized. They can gradually work hard enough at it, be got into the hypnotic state. Sooner or later you have to bring in an element of persuasion, an element of getting people to consent to what is happening to them.
Hypnotic state. Hypnotic state. Hypnotic state. Hypnotic state.